Hey everyone, Cinephile Mike here. It is day 72 of Oscar Rewind, my bi-weekly series of videos that reflect the earlier work of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. As always, I'll be discussing the awards history for the film, the box office information, the critical response, and as always, these reviews will be spoiler-free. You can find all older episodes here on my YouTube channel. You can head over to my website, cinephilemike.com, for lots of great content. Before I jump in, please do me a favor, click that subscribe button, click that like button, and join in the conversation. So much coming, you don't want to miss out on it. Now, I know I'm a bit delayed getting this video to you, so my apologies, but there's some good stuff I'm cooking up for you, which kind of got me a little delayed, but as a treat, not only are you going to get one episode today, you are going to get a double whammy with two. You're going to get a double drop of episode 72, and 73 will be dropping about an hour or so after this one. And today, for the first of the two, I am discussing the 2012 film Blancanieves, or in translation, Snow White. Not to be confused with the other 2012 Snow White film, aptly named Mirror Mirror, starring Julia Roberts and Lily Collins, but the black and white silent film written and directed by Pablo Berger that puts a unique twist on the original Grimm fairy tale. Berger's film was released in his native Spain in the fall of 2012 and continued to have international releases throughout international markets through the spring of 2014. Now, during this roughly year and a half period, the film had an international box office take of $2,305,787 by the end. It was then released in domestic markets in the spring of 2013, where it made an additional $279,735, which resulted in the film currently sitting with a worldwide take of $2,585,522. Now, as per our usual critical reference, Rotten Tomatoes, the film was well received, giving it a 95% critical rating based on 118 reviews, and a slightly lower score on the popcorn meter with an 84% rating based on over 5,000 audience reviews. So, why is this film on Rewind this season? It's for the writer-director, Mr. Pablo Berger. Berger earned his first Oscar nomination this past year for being part of the team that crafted the beautiful love story to New York, Robot Dreams, the silent animated film about the bond between dog and robot. A wonderful film if you haven't seen it, and that film was one of the 5 films nominated for Best Animated Feature this past year. And so, Blancanieves is here, and I want to shout out was recommended by one of my followers. We'll just say, Andre, this one is for you. As for Blancanieves' awards run, it actually had a massive one overseas, with a little attention here. In the US, it was nominated for Best International Film by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. Berger himself won the grand prize at the Boulder International Film Festival, and quasi-domestic or internationally, it was nominated at the Toronto International Film Festival as well for the top prize. Now, at France's version of the Oscars, the César Awards, the film was also nominated for Best Foreign Film. Now, to save some time but recognize the highlights, I will highlight the awards it took home in its native country. At the Spanish Actor Union Awards, 6 performances from the film were nominated, and from these, there was a win for Maribel Verdú in the female lead performance category. At the Goya Awards, Spain's version of the Oscars, Blancanieves was nominated for what was possibly, should have done the homework, a record 18 awards. Of the 18, it won 10. The 8 categories that it was nominated for that it didn't win were Best New Actor for Emilio Gavira, Best Special Effects, Best Production Manager, Best Director for Berger, Best Lead Actor for Daniel Jimenez Cacho, Best Supporting Actor for Josep Maria Pou, Best Supporting Actress for Angela Molina, and Best Editing. And then the 10 wins it had were for Best New Actress for Macarena Garcia, Best Costume Design, Best Cinematography, Best Score, Best Original Screenplay for Berger, Best Original Song, Best Makeup and Hairstyles, Best Lead Actress again for Verdú, Best Production Design, and most importantly, Best Film. Now, as I mentioned, Blancanieves is a very original take on the classic Snow White story, but here we're placing it in the bullfighting ring. In this story, our Snow White is named Carmen, played as a young girl by Sofia Ora and then as a young woman by the aforementioned Macarena Garcia. Carmen's father, Antonio, played by Daniel Jimenez Caucho, is a famous bullfighter. As he is showing in the ring one day, we see his wife, also named Carmen, a dancer and performer, played by Macarena Garcia, sitting in the stands, very pregnant, with sitting next to Danya Cocha, who is Antonio's mother, played by Angela Molina. Now, after a tragic incident in the ring, Antonio is left paralyzed, and then, in childbirth, Carmen dies, giving birth to our new Carmen. Carmen is left to be raised by her loving grandmother, Doña Concha. Antonio, meanwhile, has married Encarna, played by Verdu, a nurse who has forced her way in so as to take advantage of Antonio's money and live the grand life she wants, far away from his child. Now, after Doña Concha passes on, Carmen is sent to live with her paralyzed father and Encarna. Her father ignores her mainly because Encarna keeps her away from him and treats Carmen like a peasant girl. But Carmen finds her way to sneak in and communicate with her dad and tries to build some kind of a relationship. And ultimately, in a fit of rage, Encarna, for all intents and purposes, our evil stepmother, I don't want to say fully what she does, but we know this story, so we know that Snow White will go off and will attempt to be murdered by a worker of the queen, and then she will be saved. In this case, though, it's not by seven dwarfs. We have six, who are, in this case, also traveling bullfighters and performers. As a result of the attack, Carmen develops amnesia and has no idea who she is, so the dwarves name her Blancanieves, like the fairy tale, and she goes along with them. One day, to help her friends, she actually has to step into the bull ring. And lo and behold, she seems to have a natural inclination for this. And she becomes a famous bullfighter. And wouldn't you know it, this will eventually find its way into the knowledge of Encarna. And she will realize if you want something done right, you do it yourself. And that's where I'll stop. Look, this film was a stunning piece of art that I probably wouldn't have even picked up on if it hadn't been recommended, and I'm so glad, Andre, that you recommended this one for me. Between the old-fashioned style of silent movie dialogue cards and the grandiose overacting that came from those olden golden age films that made them so engaging, just fills the visual senses with so much delight. The stunning black and white we are with from the story from the first moment to the last, and what may have prevented some of the attention getting to this film is that it was also released shortly after The Artist had been released, and we know that The Artist won several Oscars, including Best Picture. So Berger lost some of the impact, which could have maybe impeded, because while The Artist was critically beloved, it wasn't necessarily financially successful. However, I'm going to be honest. To tell the story, I actually think Blanco Nieves does it a little bit better than The Artist. Even though they're simpler, this one more involves this subversion of a traditional story and gives us some real fun, original characters to follow. And I have to say, Verdu, I understand why she won all the awards. She's just as the villainess Encarna, she just chews through the scenery with her heavy makeup. I mean, you see her here in the poster. You're just fascinated by her. You don't like her, but you're fascinated by her. And as our Carmen, our Snow White, Garcia is delightful, all wide eyes and smiles. She almost looks like she could have served as a reference model for Disney's Snow White all those years ago. Her enthusiasm is infectious. You see why the dwarves fall in love with her, especially one by the name of Rafita, played by Sergio Dorado. He's the one who fishes her out of the lake, and he's almost infatuated from the first moment of conversation. It's easy to see why this film was so beloved at the Goyas. It takes a well-known story and flips it, giving it fresh life. Kiko de la Rica's cinematography is beautiful to behold, and every frame is like a postcard. And Fernando Franco's quick editing, the quick cuts, especially the bullfighting, help to really ratchet up the tension when we need it. In all, a solid, delightful four-star film for me. While I've only seen this and Robot Dreams by Berger, he has a unique voice to be observed, and I'm actually going to look forward to tracking down some more of his work. Now, if you would like to catch Blancanieves, it is currently streaming as of this post with ads for free on Tubi. So, there you go. Only two more episodes to go, one you're going to be getting shortly, and then we are off to the awards. We'll be kicking off award season 3, 97 reviews starting next week, Tuesday, November 26th. So much to come. As always, if you want to be a part of that, you got to subscribe, hit the button, get the notifications. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms, then on Letterboxd. So much good stuff at my website, cinephilemike.com. Just come and get all that cinematic goodness. Happy watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.